Hi, ladies. I'm super excited to welcome you to She's in Charge of Business, the podcast for women that are ready for more. I'm Becky LaFave, your host, the founder of She's in Charge of Business, and together we will unlock the confidence and clarity you're looking for to get out of your own way and into action in your coaching business. Today, I'm super excited to share somebody with you that I'm really excited to talked with, I should say, because she has so much experience behind her. Being in business for 22 years, she's done a lot of things. She's got a lot of accolades behind her. And let me introduce you to her before I jump in and let you know all the things about her. So, welcome, Katrina Sawa. Say your last name. Say
Sawa.
it. Sawa.
Katrina Sawa. Super.
Katrina Sawa.
I
I
know.
say
Blame
this
my
every time.
ex-husband on that one. It was better than my maiden name, which was Lorenzen. No thanks. I'll keep this.
So you're in the right spot for that then, because like we just talked about before we jumped on, our last names are always something. Okay, so let me just tell a little bit about you because you are the jump starter, your coaching business. So you are all about helping entrepreneurs make more money doing what they love. Like, hello, ladies, are we talking to the right person? She is the creator of Jumpstart Your Marketing and Sales Systems and Telling It Like It Is type of speaker. So this is one of the things that I saw about you because I am one of those women that just say it like it is. I'm like, don't beat around the bush. Like, let's get to it. You know what I mean? Like, you see so much of that out there. And she's an 10-time international best-selling author with 22 books. Can I just get an amen? Like, how did you find the time? 1 a year, 5 a year? Like, what are we talking here?
They start multiplying once you start doing them. So it's like bunnies, I'll tell you.
Right? I'm just like, wow, I only have one underneath me. And I was like, 22, like, hello, like, let's just say you've been busy.
Well, there's a secret, but you can ask me that later.
Okay. So, we really want to talk to you about where do we get clients, because most of my audience is very start up. They're just starting their coaching business. They're super excited to start sharing the knowledge that they have inside them, or they've been learning. They've become this life coach. They're just have this burning desire to serve an impact, so they're really just starting out in the game. But before we dive into that, I really want to know, why did you decide to become an entrepreneur 22 years ago? Like, what is your backstory? Because I always find this so interesting.
Yeah, well, it's probably like a lot of people. I grew up in various jobs, and they were always sales and marketing oriented jobs, restaurants and sales jobs, stores and stuff like that. My last job was, one of my last jobs was a advertising rep at a local newspaper when newspaper was still in play, right? Like 20 something years ago.
Right.
And I just loved talking to all the small business owners. And I would spend so much time with them. Like, even if they didn't buy an ad, I'd be like, okay, well, you got to do this and you got to do that. You got to do this, and make sure you put a fishbowl out front so you can get drawings for your.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would to give them all this advice for the people I was knocking on doors to sell ads. I was still top in sales, but it was because I was so consultative. I mean, I gave so much great tips and information that they just trusted me more, right? So I just fell in love with small businesses, and I saw them going out of business left and right. So when my very last job, my boss was a kind of an a-hole, like, let's just say, okay, he said one thing and did the other, and it was very corporate. And I was like, one day I just walked into his office and I said, "You are full of S," and I said a bad word, and I just walked right out. And I didn't look back. So I'm
getting the hell out of here. That is awesome. So you did start out in the corporate space for many, many years before you jumped ship and said, you know what?
Yeah,
I can do this for myself.
It wasn't your suit and tie corporate. It was just the position. The companies I was with were very politically corporate and stuff, which was so annoying. Oh my God, I could never work for something like that again.
Well, it's funny because I talk to so many women that have been through that or in the corporate world, and I've never been in the corporate world. I've always worked for myself. So it's really funny to talk to other people that went through that, and it's learning what they've gone through. So
Yeah,
it actually helps me more with my marketing.
right.
But,
You
it's
do a
very
lot of
interesting.
crap.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and plus I do have a husband that works in the corporate space too, so I kind of hear it from him, which is interesting. But so that's awesome. So you have a lot of the backing of what we're going to talk today about because you've been doing it for so long. And so a lot of my clients that come to me ask me a lot of the questions that I'm going to share with you today. So ladies, pay attention. If you're not driving, and you're listening to this with a pen and paper, you might want to grab that now because we're going to take a deep dive into this so you can start really impacting your business. So, when it comes to a coach and she's new in the game and she's just jumping online, like she's just like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm in this corporate world or I'm doing this other job and I've been X, Y, and Z this and I'm passionate about it. And I really want to start this journey. And now I'm out there and I've kind of figured out like who my client is and all that. But this one question I get a lot, and I'm sure you do too. How do I grab the attention of my dream client? How do I do this?
Yes, very carefully. No, with the right wording, and not too much wording, or they'll be like, "Oh my God, stop talking!" Right? So you have to have the perfect mix of attention-getting phrasing and call to action that's not, too obvious, and just enough making them want what you've got. Like so you can't just like throw up all over them, obviously, because then they'll be like, okay, either too much information, I don't need you, thank you very much for spewing all over me, or they'll be like, thanks for all that great information, now I really don't need you, I've got it all, and I'll go get started. So there's so many different things to know. And the first thing you mentioned was to go online. And the first thing that I did was to go offline, right? Now, granted, there was no social media when I started. I just went to networking events and started talking to people. And honestly, that's the fastest way because when you have that energy, you can get clients today. You can get clients any day you want when you go and meet people in person. And so honestly, I'd say do that. If you can only go online, which I don't know a lot of people that can only do that, even when you have kids and stuff, then you have to get visible. You have to get super visible. That means open up your profiles to public. You can't be hiding yourself as a business owner. You got to go on video. But video is one way, right? It's one way. So people might hear you and feel you, but then you're not engaging. So you have to figure out how to engage with people. There's so many more things, but it truly is a numbers game. Like you got to meet. I used to knock on doors, right? And it was like 100 doors in the day to get my 10 sales. You want to get some clients? You better talk to a few hundred people in a week. Like seriously.
Yeah, that's so true. I remember when I first started out my business years ago, I did a lot of networking events. Just getting out there, talking to people, meeting people, and it's your energy. And I
Yeah.
believe that, putting that same energy out online, you have to meet both, right? Because we get this huge opportunity. When I started years ago, we didn't have this. And, I said, it's unbelievable that people will not pick up this little device that can make you so much money, but they're afraid to pick that up. But we started out literally knocking on doors, going to events, and I had small children at the time when I was doing all the things. So
Yeah.
it's like I feel like there is no excuse today why you cannot build a successful business. There's just no excuses.
Well, I think the excuse is that they try to only go online and they try to only use social media. And that's the problem. That's the problem you're relying on social media to build your business. Social media, you have no control over it. Stop doing that, right? It's a marketing tool. Social media sites are a marketing tool to get people interested, hopefully to see your stuff and then to want more and go over to your website. You got to have a kickbutt website. I mean, even in the beginning, now keep in mind that when you're in the first couple of years of your business, usually you're not coming out of the gate with the perfect product, with the perfect name, with the perfect logo, with the perfect business and everything. It's going to evolve over time. it will always evolve. In fact, sometimes you don't even know exactly what you're doing or who it's for. I mean, maybe your people do that because you're working with them on that, but most people I see don't even know, have their perfect thing until like 1 or 2 or 3 years in. And
Yeah,
so you
true.
can't worry about that.
Hmm.
Don't wait to launch because you don't have the clarity. Just go out and sell what makes sense today, what package makes sense today, what price point you can say confidently, as high as you can, please, without stuttering. And then like that's what you do. And you just keep evolving and changing and evolving and changing. I'm constantly evolving. I have changed this year on what I was offering. 22 years in, I'm constantly doing that. I don't do the same thing every year. You do that and you die.
Yeah, I would agree because when I first started out, I'm not even doing what I did before. I
Right.
talked about so many other things, and but then I really found what I was super passionate about that got me where I've been my whole life, and I just drew back into that and
Yeah.
said, "What am I doing? Like, why didn't I do here?" Because going into this next question that I'm going to ask you is the reason why I was doing so many other things that really didn't bring me joy. Like I always said this, if it doesn't bring me joy, I ain't fucking doing it. I ain't doing it. I want to live a life that's full of, of my life and about my business. And that's the way I've been my whole life. And it's like I switched that model a couple years ago and I said, that's when I said, what the fuck am I doing? I don't even find joy in this shit. So just because somebody else said I had to, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, get back to who you are, and figure it out. So with that being said, when it comes to marketing, what should you know when you're first starting out in your business so that you don't feel like you have to do all the damn things?
Yes. So that's exactly what you have to know. You have to know you don't have to do them all. Okay. So I just recently was brainstorming with a client, another marketing gal, like this gigantic, we called it a gigantic marketing checklist. And I think there's like 37 things on it. So there's like literally 37 things we could come up with and ways to get in front of your prospect in one way or the other. And almost all of them were the free ways, right? There was a
Mhm.
couple paid things in there, but marketing is free, advertising is paid, and sales is what happens once they're interested, right? So you really just need to pick like 3, maybe 5 things from that list that resonate with you, your personality, your ideal client, and it helps you make the money. So we have to focus on the things that are going to reach enough people that want to buy at the rate that you want to charge. A lot of times I hear people are talking to a lot of people, but they can't afford it. Oh, I can't afford it. Well, start talking to people who can afford you. Like change who you're talking to, right? You
Mhm.
don't just lower your rates to cover the people that you're talking to. Now you can create a group program, but that's a whole nother story. But the point is that it's there's a lot of marketing things you could do. What works the most are the basics, like the stuff you're learning in the beginning, the email marketing, build your list, make phone calls to follow up, even send direct mail. And you may not be learning that, but I highly recommend that. And private messaging people on social media, go to networking events, speak. Those are the things, if you do them consistently enough, you can build a multiple 6-figure coaching business or more. Okay.
Right.
You add in all these advanced strategies, like doing a podcast is advanced strategy. It's advanced, because it takes a lot of time. I don't necessarily recommend that for newbies. Be
Right.
on them, but I don't recommend doing them unless you have like $100,000 business and you can hire a team, because then you're focused on that, right? Not that it's not a good thing, but you got to go where the money is to build that consistent revenue generating business first, and then invest in the bigger things.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, what would be so if you're just starting out, like you said, some things you don't suggest, like I always say, if you love reels, do reels, but don't do them if you don't love them. Just because Joni down the road said you got to do reels to get any profits, or if you don't find joy, if it's not your personality, right? If it's not
Yeah.
really who you are, I feel like if you don't show up in your own uniqueness, you it's in the uniqueness that you shine
Yeah.
and that you draw in that client. Would you agree?
Oh, totally. Yes. You have to do what you shine at. You have to be confident. You don't look confident or you're not confident about what you're doing, no one's buying from you. No one's going to your website, right? She's not ready yet. Okay, next. So whatever it is, you're confident, and then just keep increasing your confidence around the things and practice them. You have to practice sometimes. So if you're not confident on video, then host little webinars. Why host webinars if you're not confident? Because you'll probably get 8 people to sign up. Who cares, right? And 3 of them will show up and they'll be your best friends, and then you can practice, right? And then you'll get like 14 on the next one, and maybe 6 will show up, and you'll get better, and you'll get better, and you'll get better, and you get better. And then you'll feel more comfortable to go live to the masses, right? I don't know. Like, that's just one idea. Talk to yourself in the mirror, record things on Zoom. I have one client, oh my God, I told her to record a video and put it on her homepage of her video on our website, which you all should do, because we need to feel your energy immediately when we land on your website. I can't tell you how many people don't have that on their homepage, a video of themselves. It's a must. But she said she recorded like 37 takes. I'm like, holy moly. You could have recorded 37 freaking videos instead of one video 37 times. Stop trying to be perfect. There is no perfect.
It's so funny. Yes. I remember when I first started doing video, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nerve-wracking, and you feel like you have to be perfect. And then I was like, wash that and just be you. Just be you. You collect people that love you. And so that's when it just shifted. It's like, you know what? I speak it like it is. I'm dyslexic, shit happens, and it's not perfect, and neither are you. And if you're looking for perfection, girl, we're a wash, because you don't want to hang out with me. Like, I'm not down for that. So I love that. So that's great. So what is the biggest issues you see out there in business owners that are making more work for themselves, making it harder for themselves to make a profit?
Okay. Well, how much time do we have? The first thing that came to mind was they're trying to build their own website. Please don't do that. You're a coach, and you need to stay in your lane, and your website needs to be the best looking thing. Now, it doesn't have to be very expensive. I'm not saying you have to spend $10,000, but it has to be a super professional, and it has to make you look wow. Your website has to make you look like the expert. And 99% of people that start their own business try to do their own thing on Wix or Squarespace or something, and it looks like garbage. 99%. Like, that's how you want to come across. So don't do that. Okay. You need to put money into a website. You have to. It's a must. Okay. Now, there's inexpensive things, people, whatever. Just reach out to me. I'll give you referrals. The other thing is they don't charge enough. I've sat next to a table or at a table with a coach one time. We were at a luncheon, and I said, I didn't talk to her very often, but we knew each other. And I said, how's business? How's everything going? She's like, well, not so good. I'm like, well, we got into talking. I said, well, what are you charging? Like, because I asked her a couple questions, and I was like, okay, that should be working. That should be working. I said, what are you charging? She said, $50 an hour. And I'm like, that's too low. I wouldn't even hire you. I wouldn't think you're good enough.
Right.
So that in itself, who knows how long she'd been charging $50 an hour, that was hampering her success. So you can't be too low. You can be plenty high. You can be $500 an hour, $1,000 an hour. I've charged that for an hour of my time before and got it. Sometimes I charge less. Sometimes I charge that. But it's up to you. You will find the people. There's plenty of people that will pay you whatever you want to pay. There's billions of people on this planet, and all of us need just this many to be really successful and live a good life. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And so that was great. So what are some lessons that you could share, especially since you've been in business for so long? What are some lessons that you've learned that you wish you would have really kind of learned in the very beginning? Or sometimes I say some of the lessons that I learned need to be learned now, but what would you say to another woman saying, I went through this lesson and it helped support me, or I wish I would have known it sooner, or however you want to speak it? What's some advice that you would give her?
Well, the biggest lesson that I had to learn was to listen to my damn coaches when I paid them.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Right here at fault too, a
I
lot of times.
know, like we're strong personalities and we're like, yeah, I know you're making more than me and I know you've been around longer than me and I know your advice is good, but I'm going to do it this way instead.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like I know how that feels now. And, a couple of my coaches early on were like, all right, whatever, you're paying me. Like, I don't know. Like, so, but listen to your coaches, but hiring the right ones it's hard. It's hard. I know it's hard to find the right people. It sounds like you've got some good people here with Becky. Like there's a lot of not right people out there on the internet that you can invest in. And I inevitably get those people after they've invested in this program, this program, this program, mostly group stuff or DIY, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
So therein lies the mistake. Brand new in business, you want one-on-one. Trust me, it's more expensive, but it is going to move you faster into more money coming in than any number of group programs. I've had people come to me with like 8 group programs under their belt or masterminds or something, but you don't get a lot of attention. You might get a couple questions answered on calls here and there, but nobody's really looking at everything you're doing and look at your personality, look at your husband or your kids or your lifestyle and what you need, and then advising you from there. Yes. Right? Don't take advice from people who aren't asking you all the back end questions like how's everything moving along in the business. No, that's
right.
So
because we're building a life and a business because I believe in both. Like that is what your business and life is all about, right? You ain't just going to a job. This is something you get to create. And I'm 100% with you. I remember when I first started out, I've been in business a very long time. So I knew a lot of things, but a lot of things I didn't know. And I hired the wrong person, the very first wrong person. Now, did I learn a lot? And yes, I absolutely did. But I've spent $20,000, got in her mastermind group, and it was the biggest mistake because I did need a little bit more hand holding for some of the things that I did need to learn.
Yeah.
And so I agree. When you first start out, it is a one-on-one situation. Pay for the one-on-one.
Yeah. And some of those programs are too advanced. Like if you're new, you're going to get lost and left behind. Other ones, you won't get enough, so it's hard. It is. It's hard to make decisions around that, but you can't just sit and not make a decision either. You do have to pick up and go and then know that you're going to need a few coaches. I mean, I've had probably 13 like major coaches, anywhere from like $12,000 to $60,000 a year. I've had 13 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So add that up. That's a lot of money, but it's all gotten to me where I am today.
Exactly.
Were some of them were some of them not the best investment? Yeah, but I learned some stuff from them too. You learn from everybody.
You learn from everybody. And that's why I always say, I don't take a negative approach to any of it. It's like, obviously I needed something in there, whether it was a wake up moment or a really deep learning moment. You're always going to learn if you choose to. If you choose to. But I was like you in the beginning. I know this, I know that, and I didn't know shit. And so, let's keep it real.
The year that I hit 6 figures, for the very first time, I was in this mastermind, and I went in, and it was 6 years into my business, right? And I was so close, right? But I wasn't there yet, and I was like, I want to get over it. And I'm like, you're going to show me how to make more money, right? And the guy said, yes. And I said, okay. And so I went to the masterminds. There were 3 of them throughout the year. And every time I'd say, okay, guys, I'm doing this. There's like 15 people in the room. I've got this. I'm doing this for marketing. This is follow-up. I'm selling this. And this is the price points. So I should be where, what do you guys suggest? What should I do? And they said, Katrina, you just need to be. And I'm like, what the F? Like they're just like, Katrina, you just need to be. You just need to be. Just be. Be love, Katrina. Be love. And I'm like, how do I do that? Like, what do I do? A whole year, that's all I got. I didn't get any other strategies, anything. I did that. I did a lot of uncomfortable exercises, and I cried the whole time. And at the end of the year, I made $120,000. I don't know. And I found who I thought was going to be the love of my life. because I was single. And so
It's so true. That's when I really started hitting when everything changed for me. I was so busy doing, and I got coached on being. And I
yeah,
was like, what? No, I'm a girl that takes action. I'm a girl that
I
you're
know.
like, no, you're not listening. I go, you're right, because I am not fucking hearing you right now of being. Like, that's not working for me. Like kumbaya shit is not working for me.
So all your being coaches out there, though, they need to do more. Like,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
like if you're more like mindfulness and that and balance and this and that, please do more. You need to do more. And those of you who are doers, you need to be more. And
Right.
it doesn't have to be equal, but you gotta have a good yin yang with that.
It's so true, and that's when everything shifted for me, so I'm so glad you brought that up because, we are ambitious women, we bring in ambitious women, and we are constantly doers because that is the model I grew up on, right? You gotta do to have, and then you can be, and I was like when I finally got it, I was like, "No, I am now switched to I'm being to have, all the things I want by doing this, like, I'm not doing that shit
Yeah.
anymore."
I'm
It's
more like
amazing.
do be have instead of be do have. I'm a do be have.
Yes. Yes, I know, and it's, just a slowly shifting of the mindset of learning what that really means because I've been doing this my whole life, so it was really a mind shift for me to
Yeah.
really bring it in and understand it more.
And we need reminders. So we need our coaches because they remind us.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Katrina, for being on. I really appreciate your time and taking out all your energy to serve my audience today. Let us know where can we find you? And I know you have a special gift that I'll have linked up to this. What is the special gift that you're giving out today?
That's a great question. Like, I don't remember what we talked about. But
I
I was
think
going to say,
I'm pretty
what's that?
sure it's a quiz gift that you're giving.
Oh, well, I was going to say I have a free trainings page. So some people like to take quizzes, some people don't. Some people want to watch a webinar, some people don't. Some people want a big checklist. You want that gigantic marketing checklist? I got that. Right? So like just go to the free trainings page and we'll get that for you. So you
Okay,
can
so I'll
pick and
make sure
choose.
that's on the podcast where they can
Yeah,
grab all the
I
information.
forget,
That's
but they're
fantastic.
all over there.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for being on and sharing everything, and it was so great getting to know you better. Thank you so
You
much.
too. Yeah, thank you.
All right, chat soon. Bye-bye. All right, you guys, you heard it first. What an amazing guest we had today. I can't thank her enough. And so, what does this remind you of? Embrace it, own it, and let's celebrate it as you move forward in your business every single day. You know what? Because that's where the breakthroughs happen. So until next time, take care and we'll talk to you soon.